the defensive line group. And I've already mentioned this is a stacked group, pretty much year in and year out. Something that you come to expect with Rodney Garner. He's one of the best in the business, and I'm not just saying that because I am a Tennessee fan. It is a
Nah, the record speaks for itself. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the amount of people that he has put into the pros and that have had long careers in the pros.
Even
I
before
mean,
he got to Tennessee. I mean,
yeah, Tennessee is very lucky to have Rodney Garner. That's for sure.
oh,
And
Jacob on Facebook. All right. I like where
okay,
this. All
all
right.
right,
We got a
pull
Joey
out that
Aguilar
notebook.
believer here. Okay.
Pull out that notebook. I said 11-1. Now Jacob's saying 12-0. As well as, does that mean if they're going undefeated, they're winning the national title this year?
All I'm saying is they're over under total is 8-5. Y'all better slam the over with the house. All right. That's all I'm saying. Jeff Mull comes in here and is like, I ain't trying to call any hot shots. I just want to wish you guys a happy 4th of July. We appreciate you guys being tuned in, man. We appreciate y'all so much. But yeah, defensive line, Rodney Garner, he's got the thing cooking, man. We're just going to give you guys kind of like a preview of what names to kind of expect and give you every single name in the room because we feel like every kid deserves to be the shout out. But there's going to be some names in here that you're going to be familiar with, and you're going to be like, wow, that kid's still there? Yeah, they're still there, and they're still going to be good. And I think we've got to start out with Joshua Joseph. Is he not the guy that's supposed to step up and be filling in the shoes that are huge, by the way, of James Pierce Jr.?
Yeah, so this is a guy that both of us have said could possibly be a first-round draft pick if he, has the season that we're expecting him to. And I really think that he can have that type of season this year. So absolutely, he's the number one guy in that room that we're focusing on. You've also got Bryson Eason that is going to man the middle there. You lost Omar Norman Lott as well as Bill Elijah Simmons in the middle. Those are two big names that you won't have there anymore. So I feel like you're going to hear Bryson Eason and Joshua Joseph's name a lot this season. I feel like they're the two leaders of the room. They've been there for a little while. Bryson Eason is a redshirt senior. And then you've got Joshua Josephs. He is a true senior, been playing since his freshman year at Tennessee. And both of them, started at Tennessee. They're not transfers, anything like that. They are Tennessee through and through, been here since the start of their careers. So really looking forward to seeing what the two of them have to offer this season.
Yeah, I think another guy, I mean, you're seeing depth, you're seeing experience in this D-line, and I think having the 3 deep rotation last year helped a lot of that. I mean, but there's so many names that I feel so comfortable going 2 deep again this year, and possibly we'll get introduced to that 3 deep rotation again this year. But Dominic Bailey is another guy that's going to be filling in kind of like that interior defensive line role. I mean, he played so many snaps as a lot of these guys did last year. But the 6'3" senior, redshirt senior at that, he's going to be a dog. He's going to be probably one of the starters for sure. And I expect big things out of Dominic Bailey. I mean, he really played a lot last year with the stacked defensive line that we had. And I can only see things improving from him this year.
Yeah, and then a younger guy that I expect to step up quite a bit this year, Tyree Weathersby. He's going to be getting in there, being a great rotational player. And, all of these names we're going to see that we're throwing out right now. We're going to see because they always rotate guys. You got your, you call them the cheetah package, kind of their third down package, trying to rush the quarterback, get there in the backfield. But you're going to see every one of these guys. Like I said, Tyree Weathersby is a guy that I'm really looking forward to. Cannot go without mentioning Jordan Ross. I mean, I feel like
Another younger guy, sophomore.
Yeah. Jordan Ross, he got to see some time last year as a true freshman.
I mean, he's
a lot of talent. Yeah, a lot of talent there. We're very high on him. And I feel like that your two edge guys this year, starting off, will probably be Joshua Josephs and Jordan Ross. And I feel like we're kind of going to see similar to what we saw with James Pierce last year. You're going to see a lot of people really focusing on Joshua Josephs to start the season, especially. And that's going to open things up for guys on the other side, like Jordan Ross, like a Caleb Herring. And I know Caleb Herring kind of goes back and forth between D-line and linebacker. He's kind of that hybrid there. But you're going to open things up for people like that on the opposite side that it's got me really excited about what this group can do.
Absolutely. Another senior, another interior guy, Jackson Moy.
Yeah.
A guy that came in last year, was a rotational piece. I felt like came on really strong in the Oklahoma game, and kind of continued to develop. Really was, again, just an anchor of the D line. A lot of these guys just played so much last year, and I think that's what's going to help this year. I mean, a lot of people are thinking that the defense is going to drop a little bit this year, just losing so many guys on the D line, but I think they're discrediting how many guys we have on the D line that can step right in and fill that role. Just because we don't have a superstar in the offseason like we had in James Pierce that was getting projected first overall, whatnot. And I don't think that necessarily means our defense is going to be any worse. In fact, I am very high on this defense. If we can get our defensive back room healthy, I know tonight's all about D-line, but the D-line really controls the tempo of the opposing offenses that we play. I mean, if our defensive line can continue to cook like I think they can, it's going to be hard. It's going to make the defensive backs and linebackers' jobs easier.
Yeah.
Especially if they can get there in 3 seconds, get to the quarterback. It's going to be good. Jackson Moy, though, another senior in this defensive line group. Caleb Herring, Jr.
Yep.
You're going to hear a lot about him. Another experienced veteran guy that really hasn't had his shot to shine, but I think this year's another opportunity for him to really take a leap forward, and really, really expecting big things out of Caleb Herring. The 6'5", 245, he's probably going to be on the edge, right? I mean, that dude's quick. He's going to be subbing in and out with Jordan Ross, Joshua Josephs. He's going to be probably part of that cheetah package. Who knows? But he's a Tennessee native, local in state from Riverdale. I'm excited to see what he's going to do this year.
Yeah, we've got a very, very experienced interior defensive line this year. We've already mentioned 2 of them in Bryson Eason, redshirt senior, and then Jackson Moy, the transfer from
Dominic Bailey
Stanford.
Too. Yep.
Yeah, you got Dominic Bailey. I wasn't even thinking about him because I found this other name that I forgot about, Tyree West.
Yes.
Tyree West, a senior in the middle.
He's played a lot. He's played a lot.
I mean, you've got so many different names that can fill that interior spot, that I feel very comfortable about Tennessee on the interior of the defensive line. We've already mentioned a lot of guys on the outside as well that I know are going to they're going to get their time this year as well. They're going to shine. So we mentioned a lot of the older guys. We mentioned a couple of younger guys. What about some true freshmen coming in this year that could possibly play an immediate role? And I've got one in mind, especially that can come in and make an immediate impact.
Are we thinking the kid from Nashville?
Christian Gass?
I mean, I wasn't going that route, but he's not bad. He's from Georgia. Christian Gass is a good kid. I was actually thinking of Ethan Utley. But
Ethan Utley is that was going to be the other guy that I was thinking of.
Yeah, 2 highly touted recruits in last year's class. Yeah, dude. Yeah. At any rate, I think you're going to at least see them play, especially early on in the year. And then, if maybe they're slipping or not picking up assignments, you'll probably see their plays, slip a little bit. But if they show something against Syracuse, against ETSU or whatnot, like, watch out. Like, they might be out on the field pretty quick, especially with the way we know that Rodney Gardner likes to sub in and out of his guy. I mean, it's so funny how our athletic program has kind of like, how do I want to say, like, kind of like mirrored each other. Cause like when you think of Tennessee's defensive line rotation, what does it remind you of within the Tennessee Athletics? Immediately in my mind goes to Kim Caldwell's basketball team.
Yeah.
Every minute and a half, they're subbing out. And I feel like Rodney Gardner's defensive line group is like every 2 plays, the next group's in. And there's nothing more daunting than an offense that can already only get like 3 or 4 yards of play when they get to that next series and they're like, all right, we got a first down. And they look across and now they got fresh people right on the other side. And they're like, wow, it just got that much harder. Like, I love it. And I think Rodney Gardner's done that on purpose. And I think that's why you're seeing a lot of these guys stay. I mean, your Dominic Bailey's, Tyree West of the world that maybe didn't get the snaps they wanted last year, but they see why. And that's why they stayed here. They didn't go opt somewhere else and take another role. So, yes, I I am very excited to see some of these freshmen we just mentioned too right there that I think could have the potential to sneak in that 2 deep for sure.
Yeah. So the name of a guy that has been here for a year or two that I want to get your thoughts on to see if we think that he's going to see some time this year or if he might end up having to take another year to develop before we see him on the field.
All right, shoot.
Emmanuel Okoye.
I think no, I don't think so. So Emmanuel Okoye, if y'all don't know, came over from overseas 2 years ago and was actually practicing to be a tight end. Wasn't working out. Well, it also helps that we got incredible talent in the tight end room, and Miles Kitzelman's back this year, so it kind of the need for that position kind of went down a little bit. So we moved Okoye over to D-line this year. It happened over this offseason. I think he's a freak of an athlete. I just don't know
He
if
absolutely is.
I just don't know if he's picking up on the assignment yet. I think he's still learning the game. I mean, he came over from overseas not really knowing how to play ball. He was just an athlete and a guy that you knew you wanted on your team somehow, some way. And I think the coaching staff are still trying to figure out where he fits best on the football field. So yeah, I don't think he'll be a big factor this year.
Yeah, I'm kind of there with you. I would love to see him in some of these games, like against a UAB, for instance, or a ETSU. Somebody like that. I'd love to see what he can do on the field because I completely agree with you. He is a freak of an athlete.
Oh,
I mean, he is 6'5", 243, and he can move. I mean, like you said, he came over as a tight end and they're moving him now to defensive line, having him learn that position. So he's a fantastic athlete. The question is, will he get to see that time to try to get more comfortable with that position? And I'm with you. I just don't think in meaningful snaps we're going to see that this year, but I would absolutely love in garbage time of a game or against a UAB, somebody like that, see what he can do when he gets into the game. Because I feel like, once he finally gets comfortable and he learns some of the schemes and actually learns the game itself, dude is going to be a fantastic player. I'm not saying he's going to be a first team All-American or anything like that.
No.
But because of his athletic ability, he's going to be a fantastic player on the field.
And again, the guy's been here a couple of years, but he's still only a redshirt sophomore. So, I mean, It's not like he's got to be on the field this year. He's still got plenty of time to develop. I think the next year will be his time to really shine, and then he's got 2 years to do so, right? So, no, I think he needs to continue to learn, and he will. And, I'm excited to what maybe he will bring in the future. Who you got next on the list? Big Orange says, "Go Vols" on YouTube. We appreciate you, Big Dog. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Yeah, go Vols.
We talk about the D-line.
I think another guy to kind of look out for is a fringe guy to see some time, and it'll probably be more on the interior. Marion Dye, true freshman from Elkhart, Indiana. That's a guy to keep an eye out for. 6'5", 264 freshman. He probably won't see a whole lot of time this year just because of the depth there, but it'll be interesting to see him whenever he gets into some of those other games like we talked about. I mean, you can go down the list here of defensive linemen and you see, there's some experienced guys with a mix of a lot of, freshmen, sophomores, things like that are highly touted. It's just, will we get to see them this year? And that's something that we don't know just because there's so much depth there, but they also do so many rotations on that defensive line. So you could see each and every one of these guys that we mentioned, how many meaningful snaps are they going to get? We don't know. But you can guarantee that Rodney Garner is going to go 11, 12 deep, just like he normally does each and every year.
Oh, 100%. And there's still one big freshman that you didn't touch on. I was kind of waiting on you to. Consensus 4-star recruit last year, true freshman this year, Jaden Lofton.
Jaden Lofton's a good one.
He's a dog. Now, I don't know if he'll play this year, if he'll redshirt. Dude, if he redshirts, you can bet money that kid's playing next year, like 100%. This kid's a dog. One of the bigger guys, as well as he weighs 253. He is 6'4" out of Somerville High School. That dude, I'm telling you, the freshman D-line class that we got this year, one of the better classes, in my opinion, on the D-line.
Yeah,
because let's be honest, James Pierce, when he came here, he wasn't a 5-star. I mean, he developed into the player that he was. And I'll be honest with you, and I told you this last year. It's crazy because Joshua Josephs and James Pierce Jr. came in the same class. And freshman year, Joshua Josephs had the better year.
He did.
And then James Pierce came out of nowhere in his sophomore season and junior year and then got drafted. But Joshua Josephs, like I think of like the LSU game when we went down into Baton Rouge and just took over. But that was Joshua Josephs like coming out party as a true freshman.
Yeah.
He was a dog in the backfield all the time. And no, I have a lot of belief in not just the room this year, but just the freshman class that we brought in. I mean, you gotta credit Rodney G, Josh Heupel, and Tim Banks for doing the recruiting, and obviously their staff for finding these guys. Because even though they're not raking in top 5 classes like you want to see, they're finding diamonds in the rough, and you're seeing this coaching staff ability to develop, and that's something Tennessee's just not had in the last 15-20 years.
Yeah, and I found out something interesting listening to the EA show from yesterday. They were talking about the defensive line group a little bit, talking about Rodney Garner a little bit. And, he's one of those old school type coaches that you can either play for him and do well, or you just don't mesh with him. And they said that the first day of practice, I believe it was the 22 season, said he had his group doing up downs out there on the field. And you don't see a lot of that in colleges anymore. A coach having them out there doing up downs, that's more of like a high school sort of thing because, at
Right.
that point, they've got their own set of conditioning. The coaches don't really do that anymore. But Rodney Garner is an old school type coach.
That's what
And
you
to
gotta
have
have
his team
sometimes.
out there doing up downs and the guys, not complaining about it because they know what he can do for them, that says something about Rodney Garner. Those guys, they respect him, and he gets the best out of each and every one of them as long as they will listen to him, which the majority of them do.
Yeah, 100%. That's a great point. I'm gonna get back to that point actually right after Big Orange here comment and said. And by the way, say what you want about these helmets, but this dude's profile picture, that is the coldest helmet in the University of Tennessee's history. I love it.
Yeah.
That is a stone cold take because nobody else thinks that. But that by far is the most fire helmet that we have. And unfortunately is getting buried because of how we played in them. It's fine.
I feel like they're going to bring it back at some point.
They have to, man, because we kind of sucked in the Smoky Grays for a while too, because we only wore them in the big games, and unfortunately for Butch, we didn't win the big games. But no, Tennessee defense is going to hold everyone we played to under 30 points again this year, I think. And if we can find a way to score more than last year, which shouldn't be hard, we will be a 10-2 team for sure. Now, look, it's not a shot in the dark, guys. We went 3 straight first halves without scoring a single point. And in one of those games, we went all the way to like the 2-minute point in the third quarter before we scored. I think that was Florida. I think we were literally at 0 until like 2 and some change to go in the third quarter before we scored our first touchdown against Florida. And still found a way to win because of how good the defense was. And I do think Joey Aguilar, although he is turnover prone, this coaching staff has proven to me with the likes of like Hendon Hooker that you can fix that. And as long as he makes good decisions and as long as he doesn't miss the wide open throws, yeah, I think it's not going to be hard to outperform Nico's numbers. And that's not really a slack on Nico. I think it's just a fact that like his overall numbers, statistics wise, again, some of that was because Dylan Sampson was just so daggum good. You didn't really have to have great passing numbers. But this year, I think it's going to be a little different. I think we're going to have great running production. I don't think you're going to have a Dylan Sampson. So you're going to have it picked up on the passing game as well. But yeah, Big Orange, man, we appreciate you. Aguilar is a veteran quarterback, not going to be afraid to play in the position. No, not at all. That's where that experience is going to come in because, I mean, the dude's going into like his 4th or 5th year. So he's going to be awesome. It's going to be good. But no, back to your point about the up downs with Rodney Garner. That's like a cultural shift type move, right? Yeah. You're going from a team who's kind of gotten used to losing, okay with being mediocre, and you're instilling that mentality back into the team. I think of Dan Campbell, you mentioned it, and what he did with the Detroit Lions, he did the same thing. He was making.
It's funny that you bring that up because that's the exact comparison that they brought up on the EA show. So good, continue.
Right on. Then that makes me feel smart. But anyways, I mean, Dan Campbell, when he went to the Lions, I mean, you see what the Lions are now. They're cool again. Like it's cool
Yeah.
to be a Lions fan. But when he first got there, he was making them in the OTAs and training camp, fall camp, whatever. He was making them do up downs. Grown men, professional athletes getting paid to play the position, was making them do up downs, and everybody laughed at him. Was like, "That's not going to work. Like, you don't know what you're doing." And look at where they are now. I mean, generational run by the Lions, and it's when you see a coach doing stuff like that, that like I mean, I've seen it done at my high school. I mean, my high school is bad. You know that in football. And it just takes that coach that does some stuff the old school way. That takes that reset of the mentality to instill the belief in the players that they are good enough. They just got to be coached better. And no, Rodney G's doing that. Dan Campbell's done that. And my high school alma mater last year went third round of the playoffs. So it works, man. It is real. It is true. Big Orange comes in with a good question. This is about the D line, but he asked right off the top, will Gerard McCoy be healthy week 1? I am going to go ahead and just be blunt. No,
No, he's not.
I don't have any
Maybe by
resources on that.
Georgia.
I have sources, but I don't have like confirmations on that because they're not going to come out and say that. But just me kind of knowing how this coaching staff is with injuries, no, he's not going to be ready for week 1. I think we can beat Syracuse without him, and I think we're going to rest him till Georgia, in my opinion, if he can come back by Georgia.
Yep, completely agree with you. So what are your expectations this year for the defensive line?
Defensive line, I think, is going to eat. One last name I want to hit on, Isaiah Campbell, another consistent 4-star. He's in the interior, though. He's a true freshman this year. Another guy on the line that I think is going to be a beast. He's 6'4". He's like 282. 282. I think he's going to be a beast. But overall, like my thoughts on the defensive line is we're going to pick up right where we left off. I don't think there's going to be any drop off. I think you might see more sacks. I know that sounds dumb, but I think you might see more sacks. I think no team is going to be sitting there focusing on one play, at least not early on in the season. They're not going to be focused on one player. So they're going to do their normal blocking assignments, which is going to allow a lot of one-on-ones. And I think our players are better than theirs, period. And I think, not only Joshua Josephs, not only Tyree West, Dominic Bailey, like you're going to see Jordan Ross. You're going to see those guys win their ones. And I think running on this D-line is going to be insanely impossible. And you've seen that the last 3 years. So continue to stop the run, take your chances in the passing game. We've built up our defensive back group. I'll take my chances. I'm really excited about it.
Yes, I'm with you on all that. I think that, we're just going to pick right back up where we left off last year. It's going to be hard to do a lot of things against this defensive line. The one thing I do want to see, and we saw a big improvement on it last year, but there's still room to grow. I want to see a lot more natural pressure with our 4-down linemen. That way, we're not having to bring that safety off the edge. We're not having to bring that linebacker down. I want to see us be able to get to the quarterback with our 4-down linemen there. And like I said, we saw a big improvement on it last year, but still in the big games, the Ohio State game, the Georgia game. I'll even throw a little bit of that Alabama game in. We didn't see that natural pressure from our 4-down linemen. But, Georgia and Ohio State, those are two fantastic teams that had really good offensive lines.
Well, so I'll even say against Ohio State, we had pressure. They just went berserk. I mean, they were hitting every pass. I mean, in the first series alone, think about it. It was like a sack. Dang near had a fumble. And then, what was it, like a face mask on a 3rd down that would have literally had a 3-and-out to start the game. And gave them a fresh set of downs, and then they kind of went crazy after that. Like,
but then after that series, I'm not disagreeing with you, but after that series, did you really see much natural pressure? It's like Ohio State.
No, but he was getting the ball out in 2 seconds.
He was.
I mean, our defensive backs were getting cooked. I'll be honest. But like I said, they did that to pretty much every team. But overall, the defensive line is what kept us in this. I mean, that.
I agree.
You talk about Nico, you talk about Dylan Sampson. Defensive line and defense in general is what got us to the playoffs.
How many games did the defense win for us last year?
Alabama.
Alabama,
Florida,
it did. Oklahoma, Florida.
Oklahoma for sure.
I will honestly
We
say
lost the
Mississippi
game.
State.
We lost the game, but Arkansas was a game that I've never seen our offense play so bad. And like
Yeah.
our defense at least gave us a shot. And I know people are going to talk about how we gave up that last, well, you had to, man, because they were going to milk the clock, kick the field goal to win the touchdown or win on a time expiring field goal if you don't just let them score so that you can at least give your offense a chance to go score. So yeah, I mean, yeah, defensive line, defense in general. I think that's going to be a lot of the same this year. I mean, keeping opponents under 30. I will go as far as to say under 20, man. I mean, we did great at that last year, other than like 2 games. So, like to see that again. What about you though? What are your expectations?
I mean, kind of the same deal. I expect them to just pick right up where they left off. I do want to see more natural pressure. I want to keep seeing the same things that we've been seeing from them, but build on that. I'm not going to be satisfied for this defensive line to be on par with what they were last year, which they were phenomenal last year. I want to see them take another step forward going this season. And I know that's going to be hard to do because, when you play at a high level like that, it's hard to just keep taking it to that next level and that next level and that next level. But because of what Rodney Garner does for this defensive line group, it's almost like I expect, all right, this defensive line, they're going to take that next step forward again. And I want to see them just hit that next level. So I do expect that this year. Will it happen? Yet to be seen. But I think that they're at least going to be on par with last year. I think they will take a step forward this year.
Oh yeah,
As hard as it
they
is to
got the talent.
believe.
They
Yeah.
got the talent.
But you know what
You're not. Go ahead.
you know what I am going to miss this year?
What are you gonna miss this year on the
I'm gonna
defensive
miss.
line?
I'm gonna miss not having a freaking 300-pound guy in the middle wearing number 10
Let
like
me be
Elijah
honest.
Herring
Let me
did.
be a hard truther on that one. Love the kid. Awesome kid, by the way. I don't feel like he played his best.
I agree. But what I'm getting at though is I I want to. I love seeing the big guys wear the
Oh
small
yeah,
numbers.
Florida had one, right? Number
21. I can't remember his name,
Cox,
but it's
maybe. I can't remember his first name.
yeah, but
Dude was
it's
just a mammoth. I was like, dude, that's unfair. That sounds. He could literally stand up and like just not even move, and he's taking up like 3 blockers because I mean they can't move him out of the way. But yeah, Big
and
E
then
was
what?
the same way. I
Yeah,
mean,
and what about them in the bowl game putting him at fullback? Man, that was that was awesome.
that's unfair. I mean, that's insane. But yeah, I mean, having a guy like that presence is nice. I was expecting a lot more things out of him last year.
I was as well.
Because ever since he swapped to number 10, I felt like his play actually went down, and we were hoping that would get corrected last year. I mean, he didn't play bad. I mean, I know it sounds bad, but I had a really high ceiling on him, and to me, I think he fell a little short, but it kind of got covered up by how great the defensive line as a whole unit was.